Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Unknown Regions podcast. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm Taylor.
And today we're going to be talking about the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so that has concluded, and we have lots of thoughts about it. And we're just going to kind of discuss, 5 things we loved, 5 things we disliked, and spark some conversation, give it a review at the end, and move on with our lives. How you doing, Taylor? I know you had a rough night.
No, I'm doing good. I'm just your camera is so funny. Now it shows a picture of you, but you're just frozen like
Okay,
right on the screen.
it'll
So
be
I'm
like
just
it's like a comic book. You have to just picture me talking.
exactly. But yeah, no, I'm excited to finally talk about this. It's been a couple of weeks that we just weren't able to really record whatever ended up happening. I think we went on a hike with our family last week.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
I haven't posted any pictures on our Instagram, but I will because we took some pictures,
Oh,
Taylor and
right.
I, for the podcast. So yeah,
Yeah.
keep your eyes
And
out for that. We
I
have.
hope
Oh no, continue.
I was gonna say, I hope everybody else has been able to catch up on all the shows that have been out, especially Obi-Wan, if they wanted to watch it. Now they can.
Yeah, no, and I want to go through again and kind of give it like a full walkthrough now that all the episodes are out, and I don't think my opinion's going to change much on it, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously we have Stranger Things out now, so holy
Oh man.
smokes.
Yeah, I am not ready.
Yeah, I already Amanda and I watched episode 1 last night, and
For episodes 8.
yeah, part 1 of this finale.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump into 5 things I loved, and then maybe some things I disliked, and we can go from there.
Okay.
And you can talk about stuff that you loved and stuff you disliked.
Okay.
The first thing that I really enjoyed, I'm sure you're in agreement, is the relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia. Was very much a highlight of this series because I thought Leia wouldn't be much of a character in this
Yeah.
whole series, and ever since she showed up, I was like, oh, they're gonna drop her off soon. But no, they just kept having really good moments with her, and that final moment when Obi-Wan talks to her on Alderaan was really special, and tear jerking for sure. But overall, that was a highlight for me. I also really liked Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's showdown, as did everyone else, because it was amazing. Especially the apology to Anakin, and then Vader, talking about how he killed Anakin Skywalker, and then his scream at the end, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought that was funny because, it's just similar to Darth Maul, and now we
Everybody's
have.
screaming after Obi-Wan.
Yeah, everyone is, and now we have his full name too, so that's pretty cool.
Mm.
Qui-Gon's Force Ghost at the end, that was another thing that I thought was really cool. I was really worried that they weren't going to show Qui-Gon at all or have his voice or anything, but they straight up had his Force Ghost show up. And yes, it is canon breaking, but I mean, truthfully, I don't really care. I think overall, it's pretty cool seeing Qui-Gon, and I think we all wanted to see Liam Neeson, and it's setting up some further potential. Fourth one's Darth Vader's demonstration of power and ruthlessness is downright. He's evil, bro, and he showed it. And I like how they portrayed Darth Vader. I wish there was more of him, though. But this is just my likes. So the callbacks to the OT and prequels was really cool. Obi-Wan and Owen's relationship. We see why they're so gruff with each other. Obi-Wan sneaking around the base like he did in A New Hope when he snuck around the Death Star. Calling Darth Vader Darth. Closing up that little error in New Hope where he called him Darth. Him saying, I will do what I must, and hello there. Obviously, we had to have that, and I'm glad we heard that. And then the Quinlan Voss name drop was cool because he's an important character of the Clone Wars, and they're setting up something with him, so I like that. Those are my 5 likes. 5
Okay.
things I liked.
I think those are solid things to like. One thing I wanted to bring up was you said it was canon breaking for Qui-Gon to show up. And is that because they had mentioned that he can't come back and like looking like Qui-Gon? He's only the voice.
Yeah, so in Clone Wars season 6, they established that he did not complete his training and he cannot manifest himself, just his voice. And that's why he's talking to Yoda in his head and he appears as little lights at time to guide him through Dagobah and whatnot.
Hmm.
Yeah, so, but I mean, they could, in a way, be like he completed his training within the Force, or the wills granted him
Exactly.
the ability. So it's just they haven't mentioned how they did that yet. And so
Yeah, yeah.
technically it is canon breaking, but I don't really care. And I don't think a lot of people care that much.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like how it was shown.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
so for my five things, I got the Obi-Wan and Vader fight, of course, in the final episode was
Yeah,
legit. Um, and yeah, I like the callback to Rebels because that was a cool fight between him and Ahsoka
yeah,
in Rebels, and of course the mask breaking. But then you actually got to hear Hayden Christensen, and he just is a. It's so cool getting to see him have a chance to be Vader again after 17 years.
hmm
And yeah, I think he did a great job with the role, and he's still just as solid as I thought he was when I first watched him.
heck yeah,
Maybe even better.
for sure, dude. It's like a fine
Um,
wine.
yeah, and then the next part would be yeah, Qui-Gon and showing up at the end to teach Obi-Wan some more, which was really cool. Um, I honestly want that to be a second season, where it's just them kind of buddy buddy learning the Force and dealing with some more Force related stuff. Like it'd be cool if we maybe got an expansion on. I don't know why I'm thinking of this now, but that one creature that Kanan was with in
Yeah,
Rebels, because that
yeah.
guy's like a Force thing, and I would love like more Force stuff.
Force
Just
entity,
focus,
yeah.
yeah, just
That's
focusing
why,
on the Force
man,
overall.
it always bugs me when people don't watch Rebels and they're like, I just don't want to watch it because it's some of the best Star Wars content that is out there. It
Yeah.
delves into the Force in ways that no other show has.
Yep.
And yeah, it's you really miss out if you're not watching Rebels. Again, just watch it. I know the animation's a little weird, but you get used to it. And
Yep.
after the first season, it's just so good.
Uh, next would be actually, I would have to say that I really like the Grand Inquisitor.
Okay, yeah.
I think I could maybe put another part as a part of the dislikes related to him not being in the show as much.
Not yet, not
But
yet, not yet.
sorry.
No.
But Rupert Friend actually did a really good job at
I don't know.
portraying the kind of like ruthlessness of the Grand Inquisitor and also the Powan race and how they talk very like enunciated on all of their words was really cool. So yeah, that would be my I think is that my third? Yeah. And then my fourth one would be getting to see Alderaan in its like entirety for once, because we only have ever really seen it in like EU content, like Star Wars: The Old Republic, where you get to see some ancient battles there. But now we got uh, to see the city where Leia grew up in, and that was pretty cool. Uh, and then for my next one, my fifth and final like, it would have to be uh gosh, sorry, it's gonna take me a second to
No, you're
think
good,
through
bro.
everything. Oh, okay. My fifth thing that I really liked was how each episode of the six episodes kind of correlated to the first six episodes, as in movies.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good. That's good. Yeah,
yeah, so I
I
really
agree.
liked how that all combined together to make a completed arc for Obi-Wan. So instead of it going over 6 movies, he did it over 6 episodes. It's kind of funny.
George Lucas
But
saga.
exactly. So that was pretty cool. And that's my 5 likes.
5 likes. I enjoyed that very much. Always good to hear other people's perspectives on what they liked about this show. And now we're going to delve into some stuff that we disliked because the show is not perfect, unlike some people want to claim on the internet.
Yep.
Uh, a lot of those shills, I should say. uh, let's start with number one. The lack of Star Wars music. And I understand it was intentional for the development of Obi-Wan to show that, he's not at that point yet. And it made it kind of impactful in the final episode, but I think you still could have had hints of the Star Wars music throughout. They do that in Rebels. They have it slightly in the background, and then it can crescendo into like a powerful like moment. You could still have Star Wars music in it and make the final episode impactful when you have it show up, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just thought like those moments in each episode that could have been elevated by the Star Wars music, man, like they just missed that opportunity. They could have, like, when Darth Vader first meets Obi-Wan, like that could have been a perfect time to throw in some classic Star Wars music.
Duel
And
of Fates could have been used at some
why
point,
didn't
like they
what
did
was
in
the
the
whole
trailer.
yeah, what was the whole point of advertising Duel of the Fates in the trailer if you're not going to have it in the show, you know? Uh, so yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes. The lack of focus on Darth Vader, and they said beforehand that they didn't want to have him in too many scenes because he overpowers all the scenes, and that just made me upset because I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's what we
Like
want.
that's what we want. We wanted like more Darth Vader.
All
Um,
day.
And also, it annoyed me. Another thing tied with Darth Vader, it annoyed me that a wall of fire prevented him from going to get Obi-Wan. And they try to be like, oh, he didn't want to fight a weakened Obi-Wan. And then in the next episode, though, he's pissed off that Obi-Wan gets away. So it's like the writing's kind of uneven overall. That's another gripe, but
Hmm.
it's not one of my 5. But uh, Obi or Darth Vader's walked through lava in his suit. His suit can withstand heavy amounts of like heavy temperatures or high temperatures, I should
Yeah,
say.
can't it be like underwater? It could be in lava. It can be in space. It can be
Yes,
in all
it,
sorts of environments.
it can take blaster bolts. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand this idea that a wall of flame would have kept him out of the way. Also, he could have easily jumped over that
Yep.
and done his like force glide that he does in all the video games and whatnot. My third dislike was the lack of flashbacks. I don't understand only using one flashback in episode 5. They really underutilized Hayden Christensen
Hmm.
because, I mean, we saw in the before when they were like doing promotions for this, like Hayden and Ewan going around doing interviews and everything. They're like promoting those characters and actors together, and then we get one flashback with them and one moment when they're talking through Darth Vader's broken mask, and it's like,
Hmm.
come on, man, it really underutilized him, and I hope that we get more of Hayden in Ahsoka, which we probably will. But
Hmm.
my fourth one is Riva's overall character development. I think it was poorly executed, and I think that sucks because she was an interesting character. This idea that she was nearly consumed by her rage and vengeance, and that she almost became Darth Vader in terms of killing children, that was a cool idea. Um, and I wish that they would have developed her more or
Hmm.
introduced her in some other content. Her scene with Obi-Wan could have felt more impactful at the end because it really just didn't feel that impactful, truthfully. And it sucks because I like the idea of Riva. I just wish they would have developed her. But I mean, now that they kept her alive, because in the original script she was going to die, they can do more with her. And maybe in her own series, she can shine a little bit more. And then also in the original script, I was reading that Riva wasn't gonna know that Anakin was Darth Vader because in the flashback, the writer is like, all she sees is Anakin killing her friends and then attacking her. And he was supposed to leave like some sort of scar on her, like he like slashes her or something, but she survives.
Uh-huh.
And she wasn't gonna know that Anakin was Darth Vader, but she was gonna be consumed by the dark side, join the Inquisitors, and then later she was gonna be hunting Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan would tell her that Darth Vader is Anakin, and then she would fight Darth Vader and end up dying. That was the original script, and this was before. This was written before Jedi Fallen Order,
Oh.
and so it's not like I know people are trying to tie her to Trilla, but technically Reva was in development before Trilla even was, because the
Oh.
writer talked about how he played Fallen Order, and he's like, oh my gosh, that's like the character I wrote because she ends up fighting against Vader and dying.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that original idea for Reva is super cool, and I think it would have been more compelling. And then finally, the lack of scope presented. This show did not feel cinematic at all. The use of the volume, I understand it can work in some scenes, like look at The Mandalorian, some of those beautiful environments. It really works. But I mean, just look at Jabim, like those scenes with the stormtroopers out front, like it just it felt very much like you could tell like more than you should be able to. You shouldn't be
Mm.
able to tell it's the volume as much. And there weren't a lot of those beautiful like environments and landscapes. And Star Wars is has a lot of that beautiful environment and like different planets and all that stuff. And also the directing and camera work bothered me a lot. Why is it so shaky?
Yeah.
Shaky camera was like driving me crazy. And yeah, like because I feel like it took away from a lot of scenes having them shake the camera like that. Truthfully, but yeah, that's my five dislikes.
Okay. Okay. Solid. Solid. Yeah. I can agree with you on a lot of those things. But let's see if I could go down a list. The
If you
first
have some of the
one,
same ones, that's fine.
yeah, I was gonna say the first one I have is the Riva character. Um, I had heard from some stuff that inside of, of Star Wars Lucasfilm, they told the actress Moses Ingram, who's a good actress, that people are not gonna like you as a character, so be prepared for that.
Why would you? Oh, that
So,
makes me so
okay,
angry.
so what I'm going off of that is why would you make a character that is inherently unlikable? You have Darth Vader, who is literally murdering kids, and we would rather watch him than watch her. If you just give her a good story and a good character arc, then you can justify her being in a show. But if you give her a character arc that people aren't going to care about, then you're setting her up to fail, which then doesn't make the actor look good. It definitely doesn't make the writers look good, and it sours the experience because this is an Obi-Wan show, and introducing a new character already is, I mean, I know they always kind of want to add their own little twist to things,
Yeah,
but you got to make sure that if you're putting her up against Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, she better have a good story because they
yeah,
have good stories. And so
yeah,
that is my biggest gripe with the Riva character is that she just was not utilized right and she was not written right and she was not given the proper care that that character needed to be successful because when you were describing the idea that she was completely consumed by rage for what happened to her friends that she was going to turn into Darth Vader. That's kind of interesting, but they need to like develop that better because I didn't feel that until you said that. Even when
exactly.
I watched the final episodes, like I know that that's what she was saying. She's like, "Am I him? Am I as bad as him?" It's like, but I didn't feel that like I should have felt it. So
Well,
yeah,
I think
that's
the
my.
issue. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I was gonna say I think the issue is they took till episode 5 to
Yeah,
finally have her talk about her past, rather than doing that in the beginning and actually flushing her character out. Like, what the heck, man?
and
And then
that's leading me.
having Lucasfilm talking about how they're telling Moses Ingram that no one's gonna like your character is like
Like, get ready, you're gonna get hate, is
if
essentially
that
what they
rumor is
said.
true is like super upsetting.
All right.
And like, yeah. Okay, continue. Sorry.
That thing you said though about how it didn't start till episode 5 is my second gripe of the show, and that is when you bring in Andrew Stanton to write the last 2 episodes of the show, why wasn't he there for all 6 episodes? They weren't long episodes. That couldn't have been like Joby Harold, like he had a stellar first episode. That first episode was a great introduction, and then it fell off, and then it came back in 5 and 6. So why didn't we have Andrew Stanton maybe sitting
Andrew
in a little longer?
Andrew Stanton's a really good writer. If you guys don't know,
Yeah.
he's done stuff like Wall-E, Toy Story 3. He does a lot of really good, emotionally
Hmm.
impactful story arcs, and that's why episode 5 and 6, like that scene where Obi-Wan's talking to Leia, is so emotional because he's such a good writer in doing that stuff.
And as well as like just yeah, his whole story sense and writing is off the charts. So they should have utilized him more if they were going to bring him in at all. It's like kind of like when we had those 2 Bryce Dallas Howard episodes of Boba Fett, which were the best episodes of the season.
Yeah.
Why wasn't she there more? Why? And I know that there was a reason, but
Wait, or the she did episode five,
or
and then
she did just one.
Dave Filoni did episode
That's right.
6,
That's right. But
the
like,
Luke one.
why
But yeah, no, I
bring
know what
even
you mean.
just her in? Like, she would have been good for all of the episodes, and maybe have Dave Filoni do one episode. But I know why they did it because Robert Rodriguez really wanted to do a Boba Fett show.
Yeah, with Bryce Dallas Howard, she's a huge Star Wars fan. Her house actually has a twin sun, uh, like what's that called?
Chandelier or something?
Mural
Oh,
on
mural.
the back of her house, like because it's a big
Wow.
white. Yeah, it's really cool.
So, anyways, that's my second gripe is that he should have been in it more because the writing significantly improved when he was sitting in with Joby Harold.
Yeah,
So yeah, so those are my first two. My third gripe would be probably the pacing of the show overall. It felt like it could have just been one big movie and not a TV show.
that's how it was written
Because
originally.
yeah, so like I've heard people say that they're gonna cut out all the end credits and stuff, and they're gonna make a cinematic release of the show for theaters.
Oh, okay.
So then we can go see Obi-Wan in a one like 3 hour shot compared to what we saw it where it was once a week kind of
That's
thing.
pretty cool. I like
So
that.
I'm curious when I get to see it there if anything changes in my opinion. But yeah, so if that actually does happen, that'll be interesting. So I really don't know if they like kept well, and then they also directed it the same way that a movie's directed, where the same director did every episode,
Yeah,
because TV shows are not like that in general.
yeah.
So
This felt more like a TV show because it had more of that. I don't want to say filler because I hate just saying filler, but it had more of those like unnecessary plot points where like Obi-Wan has to rescue her a second time, Leia. Like that's
yeah,
just a silly TV show plot point. Like uh
yep. And I think that yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, I guess another thing, and I guess it's kind of related to Riva, but not really. It's the fact that all the coolest scenes got cut out by boring scenes. So like we had that epic fight between Obi-Wan and Vader, and then halfway through it cuts to the Lars farm and
oh
that little
yeah.
chase. So that really kept halting the enjoyable parts. Everybody that I was watching was like, "Oh, why are we switching back to this part right now? Like I want to just see
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and Vader fight." So that was another thing. I know they technically did that in Revenge of the Sith as well. They cut between 2 different types of scenes.
But that was between Yoda and Palpatine
I
fighting and
know, I
Obi-Wan
know.
and Anakin, not Reva walking around the desert.
Yeah.
And that whole
So
scene doesn't make sense either. Like, somehow shows up on Tatooine. She talks to someone, finds out where Owen is, that guy goes and tells Owen, who's in the same town. Owen
Uh-huh.
somehow beats her back to his farm, and then they're
Well,
able
she
to.
is very injured.
But I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say the part that didn't make sense to me was the fact that that Luke isn't supposed to see a lightsaber, and you're
Well,
trying to tell me that he didn't see the lightsaber that whole time
I don't think he did. He was
because he
climbing
was.
out of the hatch when she initially walked in, and Brew hit her in the face, and so he didn't
Well,
see the lightsaber then. And then he was being chased in the canyon, and he fell and got knocked out, and that's when
yeah,
she
I guess
ignited.
that's true.
So I think they were careful of making sure that he doesn't see a lightsaber. That's one
Hmm.
thing I did notice. Because I would have been
Uh,
pissed if he was like alive looking at her.
awake, yeah.
Awake, yeah. Not he didn't die, so
um, I also will say that they tried a couple of different types of stories for Obi-Wan to go through in these different episodes. Like episode 2 was a lot like a John Wick.
oh yeah.
Was like a John Wick episode. But then like each episode isn't like consistent on any of those things. I don't know if that's nitpicky at all. I mean, it was a cool. I like the idea of like it being a little John Wickish, and he was like out of retirement and he had to come back. So that was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I wish we had more fun things like that. And then we got like episodes that were a little more like they didn't forward the plot or something like that, or like there was things that shouldn't have happened or something like that. Like there was just too much of that happening, and I wonder if it is in the movie form where it's all 6 episodes together that
Mhm.
those make more sense.
Okay.
So, anyways, I don't know where I am in my five, but I'll just finish off by saying they sorely did not use Vader as much as they could have. If we get as much Obi-Wan as we did, Vader is just the same. Like we could have got just the same amount. Um, and that would have been really cool. And
Yeah.
also maybe utilize. I know they kicked the Grand Inquisitor out to forward Reva's story, but I would have liked to see Obi-Wan versus the Grand Inquisitor. I thought that would have been an interesting fight.
That's one thing I was reading in the article on the direct. They were doing a really good review of Obi-Wan, and they talked about how underutilized the Inquisitors were. But I mean, can you imagine just showing Obi-Wan's like he's slowly starting to become the Jedi Master he is, and he's fighting off the Inquisitors, and he totally whoops their butt, and they go running, and explains why they're off screen, and then Darth Vader shows up. I mean, come on, that would have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's kind of something I was hoping before the season. I was talking about how like Obi-Wan was probably going to beat them in the second episode, and then Darth Vader shows up in the third. But instead, they did it. Yeah, I don't know. They really dragged it out when it should have been
Yeah.
a movie, like a 2 hour, 3 hour movie. Perfect.
Hmm. So
You want to
yeah,
go into final ratings and reviews?
final rating for the show, I would give it a thumbs up. I think people should watch it because I think it ended solidly enough to make up for a lot of the parts earlier that
Yeah.
weren't so good. And so I would probably give it like a 4, a 3.8 to 4 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's solid. I mean, I have a whole review that I did on my YouTube channel, and I have a long review that I talked about. So go check that out. All I'm gonna say is that, all in all, despite everything I disliked, I think the Obi-Wan Kenobi series didn't start as a success to me, but it landed with the finale. And I believe that finale is some of the best Star Wars content that we have gotten. It had really good callbacks to the prequels with Padme and Anakin, um, Obi-Wan talking to Leia. It had good callbacks in terms of the fighting, and just that whole fight overall is really, I don't know if you noticed, but Obi-Wan goes from his Sarisu fighting style in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and then when he gets knocked to the ground, he switches to Anakin's fighting style, which is
Oh,
frick, why am I Gemso or something like that,
mhm.
or something. Yeah, but
That sounds
basically
right.
he goes from being the master of defense and totally psyching Darth Vader out, making Darth Vader be overconfident, and then switching it up to full on offensive. And like you see him do that twist around his back, and he does Anakin's iconic spin. That was really good psychological combat, and I think that fight is probably my second favorite fight. I think my first is obviously Revenge of the Sith. Then it goes this one, and then the Return of the Jedi fight between Luke and Darth Vader. I think those three fights are the greatest lightsaber fights in this series or Star Wars universe.
What about the Duel of the Fates? Duel of the
I mean,
Fates.
Duel of the Fates is number 4, but I don't like seeing Qui-Gon die.
Yeah, but I like seeing two
I think
Jedi go against one with a dual blade. I think that's just so sick.
it is really cool.
And
But
they
I think
really got to show their force abilities. Like they were always force jumping to different levels.
it is cool. I just think the emotional impact of all of these other fights,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
there's a lot more weight carried.
Sure.
What isn't shown very well is like I think is the importance of that duel that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan had against Darth Maul. People don't realize that that is the exact moment that Anakin goes down his dark side. That point, because he loses Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon's the only thing that Palpatine was afraid of um, happening for Anakin. Basically, if Qui-Gon survived that fight, that's why it's called Duel of the Fates. If
Yep.
Qui-Gon survived, Anakin would have never have fallen to the dark side. So I think that fight has definitely the most impact
Mhm.
on the Star Wars universe, but it's like my number 4 for sure.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
what was your overall rating for
Oh
this?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Overall rating, I'd say 4 out of 5. If someone wanted to watch this, I would tell them start with episode 5 because that pretty much start with episode 5 and 6, and you're good, and that's all you really need. I think that has the most impact. It would make the most sense. All of a sudden, you see Obi-Wan, he's on the run. Darth Vader's chasing him, and they get into conflict and tie it up nicely in the next episode. I
Well,
don't. I don't think.
I would say that you're missing some context because we know that Obi-Wan was on Tatooine. We know that Leia was growing up on Alderaan, and we don't
Okay.
get and like I guess we kind of get that conclusion at the end of the episode 6, but there's like a little bit of context that maybe they should watch the whole thing.
I mean, if you want to, truthfully, if
Yeah.
I mean, again, like,
If you want to speed run it, you can just watch the last 2 episodes.
yeah, because I think those are the best in my
Yeah.
opinion. Those are the reason I actually like the show overall. But I
Yeah.
think there is potential for a second season. I know initially it was going to be limited series, but they could definitely do a second. Um, and I don't think it would dilute this at all. I think if anything,
No.
it'll just. And one thing I want to talk about is like how much this changes A New Hope and makes all
Mm.
those moments in A New Hope even better.
Yeah.
Especially the moment that Leia's like Obi or Ben's here, like Obi-Wan, where is he? And
Yeah, but
like I
it doesn't
know,
make sense when she's running onto the Millennium Falcon when Luke is watching Obi-Wan die.
but also one thing we gotta
She
remember
didn't
is
care at
like
all.
she is more composed and more um, battle hardened at this point. She's probably lost a lot more people because she's been kind of a spy within the
Well,
Senate.
she already lost her planet at that point.
Yeah, like I mean, and if you watch that part, like she doesn't like start bawling and breaking down. She's a very strong character, and so like I can understand Luke having more of an emotional reaction. Like he's some farm boy, he hasn't like been in this fight yet. Leia's been in this fight since she was like a kid, and
Yeah.
also it makes that moment when Obi-Wan sees Leia and Luke together, and he does that smile, and he looks at
Uh-huh.
Darth Vader, and he's like, "You guys are screwed." And he just smiles and he's like, I can die now.
Yep.
It really makes that scene emotionally impactful.
Hmm.
So I do want to say that that's one thing this series really did to amplify A New Hope in a
Yeah.
similar way that Rogue One did.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, but that's it.
Well, what did you guys think of the series of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Do you want to see a second season? Let us know on Instagram. Chris is posted on there a lot. And
Yeah.
also check out his YouTube channel, Star Wars Oddball. It should be in the description. And yeah, I think in 2 weeks we're gonna probably be doing our Thor: Love and Thunder
Live
review
stream.
on my YouTube channel. So be sure to check out that.
Let's go. Thank you guys for tuning into this week. I hope you guys enjoyed Obi-Wan as much as we did, and I'm sure you guys had gripes, or maybe you don't, and that's fine, because we all have different opinions, and it's okay to have different opinions. And if you guys love this show, you loved it. But anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next podcast. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you later, dudes.
Peace.